bua ditaba tsa dinaha tsena tse pedi e le naha ya Lesotho le Afrika Borwa mothong wa ka molemong wa ntlafatso ya ditjhaba tsa dinaha tsena tse pedi. Ntate itseletsweng haholo le yohle ya rona ka lebitso la Morena Jesu ra lebo amen. Ke kopa ke qale ka ho isa hlompho ho motlotlei ya naha, ke ise hlompho ho motlotlei Tunakgolo, ke potlake ke theohele ka kwano ka moo ka teng, ke hlomphe matona a rona a teng ka kwano, ke hlomphe letona la bohahlaudi, dipapadi, bonono le botjhaba wa naha ya Lesotho, ke boele ke hlomphe motlatsi wa letona la Afrika Borwa la dipapadi, bonono le botjhaba, ke boele ke hlomphe moemedi wa naha ya Afrika Borwa le kwano Lesotho mme ke hlomphile, ke hlomphe moifo o tsamayang le mohlomphehi motlatsi wa letona la naha ya Afrika Borwa la dipapadi, bonono le botjhaba, ke le hlomphile bomme le botate, ke hlomphe di-ofisiri tsa haeso, baokamedi ba mafapha ba emetsweng le ba teng ka kwano, ke hlomphe lona bomme le bontate ba baphatlalatsi, ke hlomphe di-ofisiri tsa haeso le bohle ba teng kwano sebakeng sena. Hlompho ya le lokela, ke a leboha. Le tla elellwa ho tloha ka Sontaha naha ya Lesotho ile ya ba le baeti ka lekaleng lena la haeso la bohahlaudi, dipapadi, bonono le botjhaba, e leng moifo o etelletsweng pele ke the Deputy Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture South Africa, ho tla kopana le mphato wa hae ka kwano ka naheng ya Lesotho e leng Ntate Motlatsi Maqelepo, e leng letona la bohahlaudi, dipapadi, bonono le botjhaba, mme ho tla sekaseka ditaba tse mmalwa tse amang dinaha tsena tse pedi, mme ke kopa ke tle ke ske ka kena ka hara ditaba tseno haholo, beng ba tsona ba le tekele tsona, empa ke ditaba tsa ntlafatso tse hlahang ka hara morero wane o bitswang bilateral BNC ka bokgutshwanyane ke bilateral nation cooperation. Jwale ho ka sehlohong ditabeng tsena ke hore dinaha tsena tse pedi jwalo ka ha di utlwa hore di na le maqhama ano a kopanelo ya ntlafatso ya ditjhaba tsa dinaha tsena tse pedi, ba ile ba dumellana hore ba ke ba tlo kopana ba tshitshithe ditaba tse amang makala ana a tshwanang a dinaha tsena tse pedi, mme ka hara tse ding ha ke le utlwisa fela ke ditaba tsa ntlafatso ya dipapadi, ke ditaba tsa ntlafatso ya bonono le botjhaba, mme ha ke le mothating mona ke kopa ke tle ke ikgatle ke eme mona. Ditaba di monate ha di tswa melomong ya beng ba tsona. Ha ke le mothating mona ntle le tshenyo ya nako, ke kopa ke tle ke meme moeti wa rona e le mme Peace hore a tle a le bolelle hore na o tloha kwa naheng e tshehla ho tla kwano Lesotho o bewa ke a leboha.
E re ke nke sebaka sena le nna ke dumedise letona la rona la Sports, Arts and Culture la Lesotho, ke dumedise baetapele ba leng teng ka mona, and ke acknowledge all media houses. Ska se mme a tjho a re ke bewa ke eng mona, se se botlhokwa gore ke tsamaya le eng. So ka bokgutshwanyane I would like to say that on behalf of the people of South Africa, the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture wishes to warmly thank the humility and hospitality expressed to us by the people of the Kingdom of Lesotho. In the past 3 days, we have engaged on matters that bind our ministers together, which included commencement of the implementation of South Africa's 5-year plan of the exile repatriation project in the Kingdom of Lesotho, with a primary focus on the repatriation and dignified commemoration of South Africa's freedom fighters who perished during the 1982 and 1985 Maseru raids. The visit further sought to strengthen bilateral cooperation between South Africa and the Kingdom of Lesotho in the fields of sports, arts, culture, and heritage. This included advancing the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding on Sports and Recreation, as well as re-energizing efforts towards the finalization and signing of the draft agreement on cooperation in arts, culture, and heritage. We had the honor of meeting the Honorable Prime Minister of Lesotho, Mr. Samuel Ntsukwane Matekane, who also reaffirmed the political commitment by both countries and laid a foundation of technical work to commence in February 2026 through the newly established Joint South Africa-Lesotho Repatriation Task Team. The above engagements were followed by bilateral meetings between the Deputy Minister of the Republic of South Africa, Ms. Pismabe, and the Minister of Tourism, Sports, Arts and Culture, Mr. Motlatsi Mokale. We agreed to fast-track the signing of the agreement on arts, culture, and heritage, and re-energize the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding on Sports and Recreation. We further agreed on 5 areas of collaborations, which included the following. Number 1, building human capacity in the areas of sports, culture, and heritage. 2, jointly celebrating the 60th anniversary of independence of Lesotho. 3, spearheading joint programs between South Africa and Lesotho sports organizations towards the finalization of high altitude center called Rapolokana Center for the benefit of the sporting fraternity in both countries and Africa, and to be used as a satellite center to the already existing high performance centers in South Africa. Both ministers encouraged officials to explore opportunities for skills development in film production and incubation programs for Basotho creatives. We've also agreed that we'll develop a joint initiative on cross-border schools sporting program and community sport. Finally, we have agreed that let me rather say that importantly, we are calling upon all South Africans to come in their big numbers to participate in the Mshweshwe Walk, which will be held from the 5th of March to the 7th of March, where our 2 ministers will sign the Memorandum of Agreement on Arts, Culture, and Heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, the Exile Repatriation Project is a national initiative to trace and repatriate the remains of South Africans who died in exile during the anti-apartheid struggle. Many South Africans who were part of the liberation movement lived, trained, and sadly died while in exile. Their graves and identities often remain unknown, and families were left without closure. This project seeks to honor their memories by bringing their remains home and reconnecting them with their families, communities, and loved ones. The Exile Repatriation Project speaks directly to South Africa's constitutional obligation to build a society founded on human dignity and to heal the divisions of the past, while ensuring that the nation's liberation history is preserved in a manner that is respectful, verified, and properly documented. Our commitment to commemorating and preserving our heritage is guided by the preamble of our Constitution, which enjoins us to recognize the injustices of our past and honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land. To heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. The recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee report, particularly on symbolic repatriations, as well as the vision of the 1995 Freedom Charter. The Exile Repatriation Project is about dignity, it's about historical justice, and the preservation of our liberation heritage. As South Africa, we are committed to ensuring that the repatriation and commemoration process is undertaken through the proper diplomatic and technical channels and in a manner that respects the laws and cultural practices of the Kingdom of Lesotho, as well as the families and communities who carry this history. We also undertook a site visit to the Sea Point Cemetery in Maseru to pay respect to our fallen South African freedom fighters and to engage traditional leadership and local authorities on forthcoming work of the Joint Task Team. Information received on additional burial sites, including Pitabeng and village cemeteries, reinforced the importance of comprehensive grave mapping as part of the repatriation process. The mission will focus on documentation review, grave mapping, authorized DNA sampling where required, and consultations on future exhumations, undertaken in close cooperation with the government of Lesotho and in accordance with laws and cultural practices. The visit reaffirmed the shared commitment of South Africa and Lesotho to honoring liberation sacrifices, preserving shared heritage, and strengthening bilateral relations grounded in solidarity, mutual respect, and a common history. Really ntate wa rona ntate Cyril Ramaphosa re re akalu mafoko pula a ene mosebetsi so qadile. Ke a leboha.
If I happen to repeat what the Deputy Minister has already said, it will just be a matter of emphasis. Allow me, Program Director, to pay my respect to His Majesty King Dept, Right Honorable Prime Minister and observe all protocol at high level. And coming here where we are, we feel like let me pay my respect to Honorable Deputy Minister of Arts, Sports and Culture in the Republic of South Africa, Ms. Mabe, and Your Excellency, South African High Commissioner to Lesotho, Principal Secretary of Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture, all senior officials present here, and all government employees present as well. delegation from South Africa accompany Honorable Deputy Minister, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to address you today on behalf of the government of Lesotho during this important moment where we are working towards strengthening of bilateral relations between our country and the Republic of South Africa, particularly in the areas of sports, arts and culture, as it has already been alluded. Lesotho and South Africa share a relationship that is deep, enduring and unique. Our two nations are bound together by geography, history, culture, and the lived experiences of our people. These bonds were forged not only through cooperation in times of peace, but also through shared sacrifice during some of the most difficult periods of our region's history. During the apartheid era, the Kingdom of Lesotho played a principled and courageous role by opening its borders to South African freedom fighters who sought refuge from political persecution and violence. Many of these men and women found safety in our soil, while others paid the ultimate price in pursuit of freedom and justice. The tragic events of Maseru massacre of 1982 and the years that followed remain a painful reminder of that period, yet they also stand as a testament of solidarity, resilience, and shared struggle. In this context, as the South African people, through Deputy Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Peace Mabe, who officially visited Lesotho, asked Basotho to repatriate the remains of the freedom fighters who died while in exile in Lesotho. We both see this as an occasion of profound moral, historical, and symbolic importance. We regard it not as merely an administrative process, but an act of dignity, remembrance, and healing for families, communities, and our nations. During this visit, we had an opportunity, as you also already mentioned, to visit the Sea Point Cemetery, where some of these fighters, freedom fighters, are laid to rest. The visit was deeply moving and solemn occasion, allowing us to reflect on the sacrifices made by those who sought refuge during those difficult times. The government of Lesotho sincerely appreciates Honorable Deputy Minister's presence and engagement in this process, which reflects our shared commitment to honoring the departed. Looking forward, we are confident and hopeful that while we are working towards the repatriation process, this journey will not only be a process of returning our fallen heroes to their rightful resting places, but will lay a strong and lasting foundation to strengthen bilateral relations between Lesotho and South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that our bilateral engagement extends beyond remembrance. It seeks to build a future-oriented partnership anchored in arts, culture, and heritage, and sports as powerful tools for social cohesion, economic development, and people-to-people relations. In the area of arts and culture, our two countries are committed to strengthening exchange of programs for artists, cultural practitioners, and administrators. We envisage joint exhibitions, performances, festivals, and cultural showcases that celebrate our diversity while reinforcing our shared identity. Collaboration between museums, galleries, and cultural centers will further deepen cultural diplomacy and mutual understanding. Heritage remains a central pillar of our cooperation. Lesotho and South Africa will work together on the preservation, documentation, and interpretation of shared liberation heritage and historical narratives. Our shared history includes Mkhono Mantsopa, who was revered Basotho prophetess, rainmaker, healer, and storyteller, and influential leaders such as Chief Morana Letwele of Mahwahwa, whose legacy symbolizes unity, leadership, and cross-border ties among Basotho communities. Recognizing and celebrating such shared history strengthens our collective identity and honors the foundations upon which our societies were built. In recognition of the importance of remembrance, Lesotho has proposed to the two sisters countries to work together for establishment of the Maseru Massacre Memorial Center. This initiative will serve as a permanent site of reflection, education, and healing, ensuring that the future generations understand the sacrifices made in the pursuit of freedom and justice. And I hope Honorable Minister and the government of South Africa will look at this gesture favorably to the Lesotho government. We also acknowledge the growing contribution of creative and cultural industry to economic development, job creation, and youth empowerment. Our cooperation will focus on skills development, co-productions, and joint ventures in film, music, fashion, crafts, and digital arts. As part of this initiative, Lesotho further proposed a joint film production on the Maseru Massacre, which will highlight Lesotho's positive and principal role the apartheid era while promoting shared storytelling and creative collaboration. Sports cooperation forms another critical pillar of our bilateral relations. We seek to strengthen exchange of programs for athletes and coaches, share best practices in sports development, and revive community sports structures. Special emphasis will be placed, like she has already mentioned, on the development of high-altitude training infrastructure, including Rapokolana High-Altitude Training Facility, which offers unique opportunities for elite athlete preparation and regional excellence. Furthermore, our cooperation will extend to the development of water sports, leveraging Lesotho's abundant water resources to promote disciplines such as rowing, canoeing, and other aquatic sports. These initiatives will support athlete development, tourism growth, and regional sports integration. Infrastructure development will underpin these efforts, with collaboration envisaged in construction and upgrading of stadium, training facilities, museum, cultural centers, and the proposed Maseru Massacre Memorial Center, as I've already mentioned. Looking ahead, the Kingdom of Lesotho is working towards signing a memorandum of understanding on arts and culture with the Republic of South Africa in March this year, as he has already alluded. And of course, we envisage to do that during Muslim Social Walk, as we have invited them to be part of it. This MOU will build upon existing bilateral frameworks and provide a structured mechanism for sustained cooperation and implementation. In addition, Lesotho has extended an invitation to South Africa to participate in the celebration of 60th anniversary of Lesotho's independence. I'm repeating this because I'm also emphasizing it. Our cooperation will also be reflected on a special events or occasions that we'll be having this year. We will be having 60th anniversary independence of Lesotho, and at the same time South Africa has extended an invitation to Lesotho for the celebration of 70th year of women march to union building to confront apartheid. It's also happening this year, and we are hoping that there will be engagement of women and other youth between the two countries. These milestones present opportunities not only to celebrate our national journeys, but also to reaffirm regional solidarity and shared aspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, the strengthening of bilateral relations between Lesotho, the Kingdom of Lesotho, and the Republic of South Africa is not simply a diplomatic objective. It is a commitment to our shared past, our shared humanity, and our shared future. Through arts, culture, heritage, and sports, we are building bridges that honor those who came before us, empower our present generations, and inspire those yet to come. And with these words, I thank you very much. Khotso, Pula, Nala.